What if I told you that the reason you have never fully fit into this world is because you were never meant to? You've probably felt it your entire life, the sense of being pulled in two directions at once. Part of you radiates light, soft, compassionate, and healing. Another part of you burns with fire, raw, primal, and untamed. And the truth is, you were not designed to suppress either. You carry what can only be called the dual angel-demon vibration, and it is not a metaphor, not an archetype, not even just a personality trait. It is a frequency, an ancient living code written into the very core of your being. Think about it. Most people are categorized easily. Some are seen as light workers, gentle souls meant to heal and comfort. Others are shadow walkers, those who face darkness, break illusions, and burn away corruption. But when you try to fit into either box, neither truly feels like home. You are not just angelic, because your spirit brims with rage and fire when lies are spoken and injustices go unchecked. And you are not just demonic, because your heart is too soft, too open, too deeply wounded by the suffering of others to ever fully embody cruelty. You are both, and this paradox is not an accident. It is a rare and holy assignment. From the time you were a child, you likely felt it. That strange sensation of belonging everywhere and nowhere at once. You may have resonated with the kindness of saints and mystics, but also felt a strange affinity with rebels and warriors. You felt love in churches or sacred spaces, but also an electric thrill in places that others called forbidden. And in that tension, in that split, you began to wonder if there was something wrong with you. How could one soul feel such extremes, such contradictions? Here's the secret. It was never dysfunction. It was destiny. You are not here to erase half of yourself to appear good or acceptable. You are here to embody both forces fully, to become the living union of heaven and hell, light and dark, creation and destruction. And that, more than anything, is why life has always felt like an initiation. Imagine for a moment that inside you exists not a battle, but a symphony. The angel in you wants to heal, to bring peace, to restore harmony where there is suffering. The demon in you wants to tear down, to burn away, to destroy illusions that keep humanity chained. Both of these forces are divine when they are aligned with truth. The angel brings compassion without weakness. The demon brings fire without malice. And when they join, they create a vibration that is unstoppable, a paradox that cannot be contained or categorized. But here's where the challenge lies. Because the world will not understand you, people will tell you to choose, to soften, to be only light, to suppress your anger and your wildness. Or others will encourage you to harden, to burn away softness and stay in your darkness. And yet, neither choice will ever sit right in your bones, because you were not meant to fragment, you were meant to be whole. If you have felt torn between two worlds, it is because you are the bridge between them. Your very existence disrupts systems of control because you do not fit neatly into their definitions of good or evil, saint or sinner. You hold the codes of both, and that makes you dangerous to anything that thrives on division. You embody what most fear to face, the reality that light without shadow is incomplete, and shadow without light is meaningless. Think about the times when you felt the pull of this paradox most strongly. Perhaps in moments of betrayal, when your heart shattered but a fire rose up in you so powerful you could not ignore it. That fire was not evil, it was your demon vibration awakening. And perhaps in moments of deep compassion, when you wanted to give everything you had for someone else's healing, that tenderness was not weakness. It was your angel vibration shining. Both were real, both were holy. And the reason you were born carrying this dual vibration is not to confuse you or to torment you. It is to give you the strength to embody wholeness in a divided world. Your soul was tasked with walking a path most cannot even perceive, the path of integration. Where others will deny their shadows and cling to false light, you are here to embrace both and show that unity does not come from rejection, but from inclusion. The sacred split inside you is the key to your sovereignty. It is what allows you to navigate extremes that would destroy most people. While others are consumed by chaos or blinded by light, you are here to walk between them, to hold both, to embody both, and to demonstrate that true power comes from wholeness. That is why you have felt torn. why you have felt like you do not belong. You belong everywhere and nowhere. Because you are not meant to be owned by one realm. So the next time you question yourself, the next time you wonder if you are broken or contradictory, remember this: you are not, you are rare, you are chosen. You were born with a frequency that cannot be explained by simple categories or definitions. The angel in you carries grace and light, the demon in you carries fire and truth. And together, they make you a living paradox, a divine contradiction, a soul too expansive for any box. This is the sacred split. It is not here to divide you, it is here to awaken you. And if you can accept it, if you can own it without shame, you will discover that what once felt like torment is actually initiation. You are not torn between two worlds. You are the bridge between them. Imagine for a moment that your entire life has unfolded beneath a gaze you could never quite explain. Since childhood you may have felt it, a weightless awareness that someone or something was watching. Not in the sense of paranoia, not in the way you might fear the eyes of strangers or the scrutiny of authority, but something deeper, something that feels ancient and timeless. There were moments as a child when you spoke out loud to what appeared to be an empty room, moments when you felt the air grow thick around you, as though unseen presences were leaning in to listen. Perhaps you thought it was imagination, perhaps you dismissed it as childhood fantasy. Yet the truth is, your soul has always been accompanied by a dual frequency that very few carry, the angelic and the demonic vibrating together in one body. When you felt those presences, sometimes they came wrapped in warmth, like invisible arms surrounding you, soft and gentle, filled with light. Other times, the air shifted into something untamed and wild, a pressure that didn't feel evil, but raw and primal, like a storm gathering just behind your shoulder. These two presences were never accidents. They were reflections of the two realms that recognize you as one of their own. You were born with a signal, and that signal draws attention not just from one world, but from many. The angels watch you because your light reminds them of what is sacred. The darker forces notice you because your shadow carries the same raw fire they understand. Neither side ignores you, because neither can afford to. You might remember nights when you tried to fall asleep but couldn't shake the sense that eyes were fixed on you. Maybe you even pulled the covers over your head, hoping the feeling would go away. Yet what if I told you that sensation was not meant to terrify you? It was meant to initiate you. You were not being stalked by something random or sinister. You were being acknowledged. The unseen realm recognizes that you are not simply here to receive energy passively. You are here as a balancer of energies, someone whose presence is tested and observed because you carry a rare code of paradox. This is why you have felt like you never fully belonged. Other children might have been satisfied with simple explanations, but you sensed the layers beneath every silence, every flicker of shadow on the wall. Where others saw emptiness, you saw depth. Where others dismissed whispers in the air, you recognized them as invitations. You were not meant to live unaware. That gaze you felt was not punishment, it was guidance. A spiritual reminder that your life has never been ordinary. Think back to those moments when you felt comfort from nowhere. Maybe you were crying in secret, feeling unseen by the world, and suddenly a wave of peace washed over you. That was the angelic vibration reminding you that your pain was not isolated. Then recall the times when your anger flared, and the room itself felt charged, when silence became heavy and powerful. That was the primal force acknowledging that your fire is sacred. These two extremes are not contradictions, they are confirmations. Both are present because both are woven into your soul. You might wonder why the unseen realm takes such interest in you. The reason is simple, yet profound. You cannot be categorized. You are neither saint nor sinner, neither villain nor hero. You are the living bridge between polarities, and because of that, you challenge systems of control. Realms beyond this world recognize your potential, and therefore keep watch. They do not watch to punish, they watch to test. Every time you lean into compassion, the angelic realm nods in recognition. Every time you harness your fury and use it to cut through illusion, the primal realm acknowledges your courage. You are observed because you matter in the balance between light and shadow. At times, you may have questioned your sanity. You may have thought, why do I always feel like I am not alone? But solitude has never meant absence for you. Solitude has always been crowded with unseen witnesses. If you close your eyes even now, you may feel it, the subtle sense that you are both protected and provoked. Protected by the warmth of light, provoked by the rawness of fire. And perhaps you have come to realize, both are here to awaken you. This is the first sign of carrying a dual angel-demon vibration. The awareness that your life has never gone unseen. Others walk through life believing their struggles and choices are hidden, but you have always known there are eyes beyond the physical that take interest in your journey. When you succeeded, you felt celebrated by something more than human. When you failed, you felt the weight of consequence pressing from beyond the veil. That isn't delusion, it is your frequency calling forth both accountability and support from dimensions unseen. The key is understanding that this watchfulness is not about control, it is about initiation. Every soul born with the dual vibration is tested, not because the universe wants to break them, but because the universe wants to forge them. When you feel the gaze of the unseen, it is the call to remember who you are. It is the reminder that you are not just a participant in this world, you are a participant in the realms beyond. So instead of fearing the presence, begin to recognize it as affirmation. The angel in you has allies who see your light. The demon in you has counterparts who recognize your fire. And when you walk with both frequencies, you stand as something rare, something that cannot be dismissed. That is why they watch you. That is why you have always felt observed. Because you are not just another soul wandering the earth, you are a carrier of paradox, a vessel where heaven and hell lean in to witness their own reflection. And the truth is, the gaze has always been preparing you for sovereignty, to stand fully in your light without dimming it for safety, to wield your shadow without collapsing into shame. The invisible eyes have been your silent mentors all along. They see what you are becoming, and they know the world will not remain the same once you claim it. Have you ever noticed how you can cry at the smallest sign of suffering? Yet in another moment you can unleash a fury so sharp it shakes the ground beneath you. This is not a coincidence. It is not a sign that you are unstable or broken. It is a reflection of the rare vibration you carry, the dual angel-demon frequency that allows you to embody both extremes of compassion and destruction. You were born to hold both, and that is why you sometimes feel like you are two different people sharing the same body. But you are not two people. You are one soul woven with paradoxical threads that together create something holy. When the compassion inside you awakens, you feel the pain of others as if it were your own. You can't just walk past a wounded soul or ignore someone's silent suffering. It pierces you. You feel it in your chest, in your gut, in the very marrow of your bones. That is why people often come to you without knowing why. Why strangers confide in you. Why you find yourself wanting to heal, comfort, and protect those who cross your path. The angelic side of your vibration is deeply attuned to the suffering of the world. And in those moments, you are like a light in the darkness, a living reminder that tenderness still exists. And yet, you know there is another part of you, the side that surfaces when someone betrays your trust, when injustice crosses your path, when lies are told in front of your eyes. That side does not simply get angry, it ignites. It sharpens your words into blades and fills your chest with fire. You have seen yourself speak one sentence that could dismantle someone's illusions completely. You have felt the power of your wrath burn through pretenses, masks, and false intentions. And in those moments, you've asked yourself, am I good or am I dangerous? The truth is, you are both. What most people fail to understand is that both poles exist in you for a reason. They are not flaws, they are tools. Your compassion is not weakness. It is a spiritual technology that allows you to connect with the heart of humanity and feel what most are numb to. And your fury is not evil, it is a sacred fire designed to burn away illusions and expose truth. Without compassion, you would be a weapon with no anchor. Without fire, you would be a healer with no sword. Together, they make you whole. This duality has often confused you because the world around you insists that you must choose. It teaches that good people are kind, soft, and endlessly forgiving, while bad people are angry, destructive, and merciless. But you do not fit into those categories. You can weep with someone who is broken, then turn and cut through deception with the ferocity of a storm. That is not contradiction. It is balance. It is the sacred balance of a soul that carries both the sword and the shield. Consider for a moment the role of fire. Left unchecked, fire can consume, destroy, and devastate. But fire also purifies, sterilizes, and clears the way for new life. In the same way, your destructive energy is not here to ruin, but to transform. It rises in you to dismantle falsehoods, to burn away what is rotten, to create space for what is real. Your compassion then steps in to heal, to comfort, to restore. The two forces within you are not enemies, they are partners in the dance of transformation. Think about the times you have been pushed to your limit. Perhaps someone lied to you, manipulated you, or tried to control your spirit. Your compassion may have tried to hold on at first, to understand, to forgive. But once the line was crossed too far, your inner fire rose. And in that moment, your words, your presence, or even your silence cut through the illusion like a blade. The angel in you witnessed the suffering and cared. The demon in you destroyed the chains that caused it. Together, they served a higher truth. You may feel guilty for this at times. You may wonder why your anger feels so powerful, why your wrath feels strangely liberating. But what if I told you that this was not your fall? It was your activation. What if the surge of fire in you was not a mistake, but a signal that your soul was fulfilling its purpose? Because the truth is, your shadow is not random. It is a precise force designed to awaken you and those around you. And so the spiritual role of holding these extremes is not about keeping them separate. It is about integrating them. You are here to show that compassion without boundaries is weakness, and destruction without love is cruelty. But when the two meet, when they merge in you, they create a rare power that neither heaven nor hell can ignore. You become the kind of soul that heals not just with light, but with fire. This is why people both love and fear you. They are drawn to your compassion, your ability to see them and hold them in their pain. But they also sense the fire in you, the force that could dismantle their illusions if they stand too close. And sometimes they project their fears onto you, calling you unstable, intense, or dangerous. What they don't realize is that you are not unstable. You are multidimensional. You are not dangerous to truth. You are dangerous to lies. Your vibration is like a storm. It carries thunder and lightning, rain and wind. Some will be nourished by your rain, others will be struck by your lightning. Both are needed, both are divine. And those storms are feared, they are also cleansing. They wash away stagnation and bring renewal. That is what your soul does. You are a storm in human form, a sacred paradox that carries mercy and fire in equal measure. So if you have ever wondered why your heart feels too tender and your rage feels too powerful, remember this. You were designed this way. The dual angel-demon vibration is not about being good or evil. It is about being whole. It is about proving that light is not fragile when it is paired with fire, and that fire is not destructive when it is guided by love. You embody the balance that most people are too afraid to touch. Your compassion makes you a healer, your fury makes you a warrior, and together they make you unstoppable. That is why the spiritual realm watches you, tests you, and pushes you into extremes. Because only through those extremes can you discover the fullness of who you are. You are not broken, you are not confused, and you are not dangerous in the way you fear. You are rare, chosen, and essential. The next time you feel tears rising in your eyes for someone's pain, honor the angel within you. And the next time you feel fire surge through your chest in righteous anger, honor the demon within you. Do not suppress one in favor of the other. Do not choose, because your path is not about choosing, it is about merging. It is about proving that love and fire are not opposites, but partners in the sacred work of transformation. And when you finally stand in that truth, when you hold your compassion like a shield and your fury like a sword, you will know the answer to the question that has haunted you. Am I good or am I dangerous? The answer is simple. You are both. And that is exactly what makes you holy. From the moment you began to notice your inner contradictions, you were probably taught to fear them. You were told to hide your anger, to silence your darker impulses, to apologize whenever your emotions burned hotter than what others found comfortable. Yet beneath that conditioning lies a truth so few are willing to face. Your shadow is not your enemy. It is the fire of your becoming. Inside you lives a force that was never meant to be chained in shame. It was meant to be mastered and used as fuel for transformation. When you feel rage rise in your body, notice how alive you suddenly become. Your breath quickens, your vision sharpens, and a primal electricity surges through your veins. For most people, this energy is treated as dangerous, as something to suppress until it suffocates them from the inside out. But in you, this energy is not random. It is coded into your being as part of your dual vibration. The shadow within you does not exist to destroy you, it exists to activate you, to awaken a strength and a clarity that cannot be found in the polite cages of false peace. The world often insists that purity means pretending, that to be good, you must avoid anything that looks like darkness. But what if your soul came here to demonstrate the opposite? What if your mission is to show that darkness, when aligned with purpose, becomes holy? This is your initiation. To stop running from the parts of yourself that others label dangerous, and instead hold them in your hands like sacred fire. It is only when you stop apologizing for your intensity that you begin to understand who you really are. Think back to the times when you tried to force yourself into silence, when you bit back the words that could have cut through lies, when you swallowed your fury just to keep the peace. Did you feel stronger afterward, or did you feel hollow, drained, disconnected from yourself? That hollow space was your shadow turning inward, starving for recognition. And yet, the moment you finally let your voice break through, when you stopped pretending to be small, didn't you feel something different? That rush of energy wasn't weakness. It was the raw material of power waiting for direction. The truth is that your shadow is the most misunderstood ally you will ever have. It doesn't show up to betray you, it shows up to remind you of the parts of yourself you've abandoned. Rage, jealousy, desire, grief. All of these are energies that can either imprison you when denied, or liberate you when embraced consciously. Every time you push them away, they become distorted. They turn toxic and lash out in unconscious ways. But when you choose to meet them with honesty, they become your greatest teachers. The anger you carry can become the sword that cuts through illusion. The grief you carry can deepen your compassion for others. The desires you once thought shameful can become the guiding lights that point you toward your true calling. To walk with a dual angel-demon vibration is to live with fire inside your chest. You feel everything more intensely: love, pain, hope, despair. And with that intensity comes the temptation to collapse under the weight of it. But collapse is not your destiny. Integration Island. You were not given this fire so that it could burn you from within. You were given this fire so that you could learn to master it, to hold it steady, and to shine with it as a living flame. What many call chaos is often your most natural state. When others panic, you feel stillness. When others fear their anger, you feel a strange clarity within it. This is because your soul was not designed to reject chaos. It was designed to alchemize it. In your hands, chaos is no longer destruction for its own sake. It becomes purified chaos, a sacred blaze that strips away illusions and leaves only truth standing. When you allow yourself to fully embody the storm without shame, you discover a version of yourself that cannot be manipulated by the shallow rules of this world. And here lies the paradox. The angelic side of you is not meant to extinguish the demon. The demon side of you is not meant to mock the angel. They are meant to dance together, one feeding the other, one guiding the other. Your shadow is the current that powers your light. Without the depth of your rage, your compassion would not have the same reach. Without the depth of your grief, your love would not carry the same strength. Without the chaos in your bones, your wisdom would not have the same edge. So the next time you feel yourself flare with emotion, do not retreat in shame. Ask yourself, what is this energy asking me to see? Where does it want to flow? Is it here to tear something down that no longer serves me, or to fuel the creation of something truer? You are not here to mimic other people's definitions of holiness. You are here to embody a holiness that includes everything: light and shadow, love and fire, creation and destruction. The moment you stop suppressing your shadow, you stop betraying yourself. And when you stop betraying yourself, your life begins to align with a new kind of authenticity. People around you may not always understand. Some will call you too much, too intense, too unpredictable. But deep down you know that your path was never about being understood by the masses. It was about showing what wholeness looks like when it walks on 2 feet. And wholeness is not sterile. Wholeness is messy, passionate, fierce, and alive. You have been taught to fear the darkness within you, but the deeper truth is that your shadow holds the blueprint for your greatest liberation. When you claim it without apology, you stop being a divided soul. You become a sovereign being who can walk with both sword and shield, who can heal with light and cut through illusions with fire. This is what makes you rare. This is what makes you unstoppable. So do not shrink from the chaos within you. Do not apologize for your intensity. Stand in it fully, breathe into it, own it as your inheritance. For in the end, your shadow was never here to ruin you. It was here to remind you of your power. It was here to burn away the lies you were told about who you should be, so that who you really are could step forward. And who you are is not fragile, not tame, not half alive. Who you are is fire, and when fire is purified by purpose, it does not destroy you. It transforms you into light in motion. What if I told you that the reason you've never felt at home in just one place is because your soul was wired to belong everywhere and nowhere at the same time? You are drawn to the soft glow of candlelight in sacred temples, the resonance of prayers whispered through centuries, the hushed reverence of holy places. Yet, just as strongly, you feel pulled toward the raw electricity of forbidden spaces, the edge of rebellion, the untamed corners of the world where shadows gather. Most people will pick a side. They will claim the sacred and reject the profane, or they will revel in the profane while mocking the sacred. But you are not like most people. You walk with both frequencies humming in your bones, because you are the bridge between worlds. Since childhood you may have noticed this duality. Perhaps you felt awe in churches, mosques, temples, or sacred grounds. You sensed an invisible presence when the air was thick with incense, and voices lifted in devotion. Something inside you quieted, as if the angel in you remembered home, but that wasn't the end of your truth, because there were also moments when you felt just as alive in the places others warned you to avoid. In abandoned buildings, in graveyards under the moonlight, in wild forests or raves pulsing with primal energy, you also felt something holy. Not safe, not tame, but holy nonetheless. This dual attraction often makes others uncomfortable. They want you to choose. They want you to commit to being either a child of light or a child of shadow. They want you to wear robes or leather, to hold scriptures or grimoires, to pray or to rebel. But your spirit laughs at such simple categories. You hold both. You find God in the silence of meditation and in the scream of music that rattles your chest. You find divinity in the pages of sacred texts and in the cryptic symbols etched into occult manuscripts. You understand what few dare to admit. Both paths are sacred, both paths carry truth, and both live inside you. When you enter a temple, you feel the angel within you rise. You sense the order, the discipline, the devotion. You bow not out of submission but out of recognition, because you know the light is real. But when you step into a space society calls forbidden, you feel the demon within you awaken. You feel rawness, rebellion, the primal spark that refuses to bow to control. And in that moment you also know the truth. The fire is real too. Neither cancels the other. They complete each other. This is why people cannot categorize you. Some look at you and see a mystic, a seeker of holy truths. Others look at you and see a rebel, a rule breaker who thrives in what society fears. Both are right, but neither sees the whole picture. You are not half angel and half demon. You are both entirely, integrated in one body. That is why your presence unsettles people. You disrupt their systems of duality. They cannot place you in a box, and that makes you dangerous. But you must understand, this attraction to both temples and forbidden places is not a flaw. It is a calling. Your soul carries the rare task of integration. You are here to prove that holiness is not confined to stained glass windows or chants, and that truth is not limited to rebellion or chaos. You are here to show that the sacred can live in the profane, and that rebellion can be holy. Think of the scriptures you've read or been exposed to. Perhaps they spoke of compassion, of divine love, of light shining into the world. Those words moved you, because they resonated with the angelic vibration inside you. But then you discovered other texts, grimoires, mystic poetry, hidden writings that others would call dangerous. And those too spoke to you, not because you longed for evil, but because you recognized power. You realized that the fire within those words wasn't darkness to fear, but fuel to awaken. And so you became a collector of paradoxes. Your bookshelf might hold a Bible alongside books of magic, the Tao Te Ching beside revolutionary manifestos. Your playlists might shift from angelic chants to thunderous trap or heavy beats that feel like war drums. Your life holds both prayer beads and tattoos, both reverence and rebellion, and the truth is, that's exactly how it's meant to be. You are not here to dilute one side to fit in with the other. You are not here to apologize for being too wild in temples or too reverent in forbidden places. You are here to stand as both, as proof that categories are illusions, that the sacred and the profane are two sides of the same coin. When you pray, your rebellion does not die. When you rebel, your reverence does not disappear. They coexist in you, and together they form the unique vibration you carry. The world may try to shame you for this. They may accuse you of hypocrisy. They may whisper that you are confused or double-minded. But deep down you know the truth. You are not confused. You are whole. You are not double-minded. You are multidimensional. Confusion is when you try to be what you are not. Wholeness is when you accept everything you are. And that is your task, to accept that your spirit belongs in temples and in tombs, in sacred texts and in forbidden books, in prayer and in protest. The reason you feel resonance in both is because your soul does not reject life. It includes life. You don't turn away from shadows to protect your purity, nor do you despise the light to preserve your rebellion. You embrace both. That is why you are uncategorizable, untamable, a walking contradiction that is not a contradiction at all. You are integration. You are the place where opposites meet and find balance. And so the next time you feel at home in a temple, and then just as alive in a space others fear, do not judge yourself. Do not shrink. Remember that you are designed to walk between worlds. You are a bridge, and bridges are not meant to be understood. They are meant to be crossed. People will cross you, some in awe, some in fear, some in confusion, but all will be changed by the energy you carry, because you carry both the codes of ascension and the keys of descent. You are the soul who refuses to be controlled by either extreme, and that refusal is your liberation. You can bow in reverence to the divine, then rise in rebellion against false authority. You can hold scriptures in one hand and grimoires in the other, without contradiction, because both reveal different layers of truth. You can chant with monks in the morning and dance with warriors at night. You are not diluted by this. You are expanded. The sacred and the forbidden live within you, and they always will. And as long as you embrace them, as long as you allow yourself to be the paradox you were born to be, you will discover the sovereignty that others spend lifetimes searching for. You will walk as a living bridge, unashamed, unbound, and unapologetic. And that, more than anything else, is why your vibration is so rare. There is a reason why people are drawn to you without even understanding why. They feel something when they are near you, something that stirs in the depths of their being, something they often cannot put into words. At first it may feel magnetic, as though they are seeing themselves reflected in your presence. They open up in ways they did not expect, telling you secrets they have carried for years, crying in your company without knowing why the tears suddenly flow. This is because you are more than a person in their life. You are a mirror that reveals what they have been hiding from themselves. You do not have to try to do this. It is your vibration, the dual frequency that shines light on truth and summons shadow into the open. But with this gift comes a cost, because not everyone is ready to face themselves. While some are grateful for the way you help them see clearly, others recoil in fear or even resentment. They may adore you one moment and push you away the next. They may feel healed in your presence and then vanish without explanation. And this can leave you wondering, what did I do wrong? The answer is that you did nothing wrong. It is not your fault that your energy unsettles people. It is simply the nature of carrying a vibration that refuses to let illusions live unchallenged. Imagine standing in front of a mirror every single day. For most people, mirrors are fine when they are dressed up, when they feel attractive, when they are ready to admire what they see. But the same mirror can feel unbearable when they are tired, messy, or carrying shame. You are that mirror, always honest, always reflecting back the light and shadow within others. You cannot filter the image, you cannot edit the truth, and so, people's reactions to you are really their reactions to themselves. When they love you, they are often loving the parts of themselves they see shining through. When they fear you, they are often terrified of the shadows that your presence brings to the surface. This dual reaction is why your relationships can be so intense. You may have noticed that people rarely feel neutral about you. They either feel deeply connected or they feel deeply challenged. Some want to be close to you all the time, drinking from your energy, confiding in you like you are their private sanctuary. Others will keep you at a distance, not because you harmed them, but because being near you forces them to confront what they have long tried to bury. This intensity can be exhausting if you do not understand it. But once you see it for what it is, you realize it is not a curse. It is a sacred assignment. You were never meant to glide through life unnoticed. Your vibration was designed to stir, to awaken, to disrupt the comfortable lies people tell themselves. You are not here to make others feel cozy in their illusions. You are here to help them remember their truth, even when it burns. And because of this, you will always polarize. Do not mistake polarization for rejection. Understand that it is simply the natural effect of carrying energy that refuses to be ignored. Think back to the times someone told you something they had never spoken aloud before. They may have confessed their deepest fear, guilt, or secret dream. They felt safe in your presence, even if they couldn't explain why. That is the magnetism of your light. It pulls honesty out of people like a tide pulling the shore. Now think of the time someone suddenly lashed out at you, or cut ties without reason, or accused you of being too intense. That is the discomfort of your mirror, showing them parts of themselves they weren't ready to face. You must understand both experiences are the same gift expressed in two different ways. This gift of exposing hidden truths is not meant to isolate you, though it may feel that way sometimes. It is meant to teach you sovereignty. When you stop depending on people's reactions as evidence of your worth, you begin to see that your role is not to be liked, your role is to be true. When you hold steady in your vibration, when you no longer dim your light or soften your mirror to keep others comfortable, you step fully into the assignment your soul chose before you were even born. Of course, this does not mean you wield your gift recklessly. The mirror is sacred, and sacred things must be honored. There will be times when silence is more powerful than words, times when simply being present allows someone to confront themselves more deeply than any advice could. Your role is not to force awakening but to hold space for it. The very intensity that others project onto you can become a beacon, guiding them toward their own healing if they are willing. And if they are not, then their withdrawal is part of their path. Your responsibility is not to chase them, but to remain aligned with your own truth. What you must never forget is that your mirror reflects you as well. The same energy that exposes others will also call you to see your own shadow. Every time someone reacts strongly to you, it is an invitation to ask yourself, what part of me are they mirroring in return? This is not about blame, it is about growth. Just as you reveal others, others reveal you. And this reciprocal reflection is what keeps you honest, humble, and awake. Your relationships are not casual encounters. They are assignments written into the blueprint of your soul. Each connection serves a purpose, whether it lasts a lifetime or only a fleeting moment. The lovers who adored you, the friends who abandoned you, the strangers who poured their hearts out to you, all of them were responding to the mirror you carry. Some were activated into deeper truth. Some ran back into the safety of denial, and some simply left you with lessons about how to honor your gift without apology. It is true that at times this gift can feel heavy. You may wish you could blend in, live simply, be neutral. But neutrality was never meant for you. The light within you exposes what is hidden. The shadow within you calls out what is denied. Together they create a vibration that can heal, reveal, and awaken. This is why people will both love you and fear you. This is why your presence will never be small. And this is why you must learn to see your intensity not as a burden but as a divine responsibility. So if you have ever wondered why your life feels like a constant series of deep, complicated interactions, why relationships rarely stay on the surface, why people either open to you completely or retreat in fear, know this: it is because you are carrying the rare vibration of the mirror. You were born to expose hidden truths. You were born to stir souls awake. And while this role may be lonely at times, it is not meant to break you. It is meant to shape you into someone who cannot be ignored. Someone who reminds the world of what it is too afraid to see. The mirror is not here to punish, it is here to liberate. And when you finally embrace this as your gift, you no longer feel cursed by the intensity of your relationships. You see them for what they truly are: sacred encounters designed to move energy, awaken truth, and guide the world closer to wholeness. And in that recognition, you find peace. Not the fragile peace of being liked by everyone, but the unshakable peace of knowing you are living your purpose. Have you ever wondered why, when others panic in the storm, you feel a strange sense of calm, almost as if the chaos itself is speaking directly to you? For most people, disorder and unpredictability create fear. They cling to routine and certainty because it makes them feel safe. But for you, chaos does not shut you down, it awakens you. It stirs something ancient in your bones, a hidden memory that you were born to walk through fire without being consumed by it. When the world begins to unravel, when others tremble and hide, you feel something else entirely. You feel alive. This isn't because you are reckless or addicted to danger. It's because your soul was forged with the rare dual vibration of angel and demon, a frequency that is designed not just to survive chaos but to thrive in it. Where others see crisis, you sense opportunity. Where others drown in uncertainty, you find clarity. While those around you run from the storm, you stand in it with open eyes, feeling the lightning strike something deep within you. It is in these moments you remember who you are. Chaos, to you, has never been the enemy. It is a teacher. It strips away the false structures people build to feel secure, the masks they wear to convince themselves they are in control. It tears at illusions and exposes the fragile truths hiding beneath them. And you have always sensed that. That is why you can look into the middle of conflict, pain, or disorder, and see beyond the surface. It is why you do not collapse when life shakes everything you thought was stable. In fact, those are the moments you step forward. There is something magnetic in you that does not flinch in the face of intensity. When emotions rise, when tempers flare, when the air itself feels heavy with tension, you do not shrink, you come alive. Others might call you intimidating, intense, or even dangerous, but that intensity is not destruction for destruction's sake. It is your alignment. Your soul remembers that storms are cleansing, that fire is purifying, that upheaval creates space for something truer to be built. You thrive in paradox because paradox is your home, and yet, you must understand there is a difference between destructive chaos and purified chaos. Destructive chaos is blind. It tears down with no regard for what it destroys. It is the chaos of fear, ego, and desperation, the kind that leaves nothing behind but ash. Purified chaos, however, is sacred. It burns away illusion. It dismantles the lies people cling to. It uproots falsehood so that truth can rise. When chaos awakens in you, it is not meant to consume you or those around you. It is meant to burn away what is not real, so that what is eternal can finally breathe. Think about your life for a moment. How many times have you watched everything you built fall apart? Jobs lost, relationships ended, identities shattered. At first, it may have felt like destruction, but if you look closely, you will see that each collapse cleared the ground for something greater. The chaos was not punishment, it was initiation. It was your soul's way of clearing away what no longer aligned with your vibration so you could step into something more authentic. That is why you are not afraid when storms arrive. You may feel the sting, yes, but deep down you recognize that storms carry purpose. You recognize that conflict brings growth, that intensity awakens dormant strength. You sense that paradox is not a mistake, but the very structure of the universe. Life is birth and death, expansion and contraction, light and shadow. To fear paradox is to fear life itself. But you have always had the courage to stand in both. This is also why people often turn to you in moments of crisis. They may not understand it consciously, but they sense that you hold something they do not. You hold stability within the storm. Your calm presence in conflict unnerves them at times because it feels unnatural. How can you be so composed when everything is falling apart? What they do not realize is that you are not unaffected, you are activated. Chaos switches on a part of your soul that has always known it was meant to walk into the fire and bring others through it. Of course, not everyone will appreciate this about you. Some may mistake your stillness in crisis for coldness. Others may fear the fire you carry, assuming you are here to destroy them, but you know better. Your role is not to annihilate for the sake of annihilation. Your role is to purify. Your role is to reveal. You are here to show that chaos is not something to be feared or suppressed. It is something to be mastered. Mastery of chaos does not mean you seek it out recklessly. It means you learn to hold it without letting it consume you. You learn to channel its energy into clarity and transformation. You learn to let the fire burn away illusions, but never the essence of truth. This is why you can sit in paradox without losing yourself. You can hold the angel in one hand and the demon in the other, without collapsing under the weight of their tension. Chaos becomes the space where your integration shines. And if you think back, you will realize that some of your most powerful awakenings happened in the middle of storms. It wasn't when everything was comfortable and predictable that you grew. It was when life pushed you into crisis, when you faced the unknown, when you had no choice but to rise. That is the essence of your vibration. You thrive where others crumble because your soul is designed to turn chaos into initiation. So when you feel alive in the storm, do not question yourself. Do not wonder if you are addicted to drama or somehow flawed for finding power in places others avoid. You are not broken. You are rare. You are one of the few souls who can walk into fire and come out purified instead of destroyed. And the reason chaos feels like home is because it reveals you to yourself. It strips away the noise and shows you who you truly are. That is the gift of your vibration. To show others that storms are not only survivable, they are sacred. To demonstrate that conflict can awaken truth, that intensity can burn away illusions, that paradox is not an enemy, but the very nature of the divine. And when you embody that truth, you do more than survive chaos. You become the storm itself, the holy fire that purifies without apology. So the next time the ground shakes beneath you, and others scatter in fear, stand tall. Let the storm move through you. Let the fire burn what is false. Let the chaos awaken every part of who you are, because you were not born to avoid storms. You were born to master them, and in doing so, you reveal the rare truth of your soul, that chaos was never meant to break you, it was meant to crown you. There comes a point in your journey when you realize that you were never meant to choose sides within yourself. The world may have tried to force you into boxes, to decide whether you were good or bad, healer or destroyer, angel or demon. But none of those labels have ever truly fit you. What you carry inside is not a contradiction, it is a union. You are the one who walks with both the sword and the shield. The sword is your darkness, sharp, precise, and unrelenting in its ability to cut through lies and illusions. The shield is your light, strong, compassionate, and protective of what is sacred. Together they create a paradox that makes you untouchable by the ordinary rules of this world. The sword within you is not something to fear. It is the part of you that can slice through the webs of deception others live in. It is the voice that speaks when everyone else stays silent. It is the energy that rises in you when injustice is present, when someone tries to diminish your spirit, or when the world demands that you conform to illusions that suffocate your soul. This sword has been with you since the beginning, and though you may have been shamed for its edge, you know deep down that it is not cruelty. It is clarity. It is the ability to destroy what is false so that only what is real can remain. There have been times when you felt this sword awaken, perhaps in a conversation where someone tried to manipulate you, and you cut through their words with one simple truth. Perhaps in a moment of betrayal when your rage boiled over, and you saw with perfect clarity who could no longer walk beside you. The sword within you is not about violence, it is about piercing through illusion. It is about protecting your soul from being entangled in falsehood. You are not meant to dull it, you are meant to wield it with discernment. And then there is the shield. The shield is your light. your ability to hold others in love, to heal wounds with your compassion, to anchor stability in the storm. The shield is what people feel when they collapse in your presence, and suddenly find themselves comforted without explanation. It is the warmth that radiates from you when you choose to forgive instead of retaliate, when you choose to nurture instead of withdraw. The shield is not weakness, it is the power to protect, to shelter, to create safe space in a world that constantly tears people apart. You may have noticed how people lean into you when they are hurting. They instinctively sense the shield even if they do not have the words to describe it. In those moments you become the anchor they needed, the reminder that they are not alone. And though this can sometimes feel heavy, it is also one of your greatest gifts. The shield is what allows you to rebuild after the sword has done its work. It is what allows you to hold compassion for the very people you have had to confront with truth. What makes you extraordinary is that you do not carry one or the other. You carry both. Many souls are given only the sword and grow bitter, harsh, or destructive. Others are given only the shield and collapse into martyrdom or naivety. But you were entrusted with both because your purpose requires balance. The sword clears the path by destroying illusions. The shield nurtures and protects what is real, so that new growth can take root. Together they form the paradox of your being. Walking with both the sword and the shield means you must learn to live unapologetically. This world is uncomfortable with paradox. It wants things to be either this or that, light or dark, healer or warrior. But you cannot and will not fit into that simplicity. You are the paradox in motion, the one who heals and destroys, the one who comforts and confronts, the one who carries mercy and fire in the same breath. And this is not a flaw. This is sovereignty. There will be those who misunderstand you. They will call you hypocritical for being both fierce and gentle. They will accuse you of being unstable because they cannot comprehend the wholeness you embody. But their discomfort is not your responsibility. Their limited understanding does not require you to shrink or explain. You do not need to apologize for walking as the paradox you were designed to be. You are not here to make sense to others. You are here to be the living reminder that wholeness does not exclude. It includes. Consider the times in your life when you tried to be only one thing, when you forced yourself into light, denying the fire that burned in your chest, or when you leaned too far into shadow, forgetting the tenderness that lives in your heart. Did you not feel incomplete? Did you not sense something missing? That incompleteness was the warning that you were never meant to fragment yourself. Your true power arrives only when you allow the sword and shield to be carried together. And when you do, everything changes. You begin to see how the sword can liberate you from attachments, illusions, and toxic ties, while the shield allows you to nurture yourself through the transformation. You begin to realize that your role is not to be predictable, but to be whole. And in that wholeness, you become ungovernable by the shallow judgments of others. They cannot categorize you. They cannot control you. You are both guardian and destroyer, healer and warrior, angel and demon, sword and shield. The paradox you embody is not just for you, it is for the world. When you cut through illusions with your sword, you do it not to destroy others, but to free them from falsehood. When you raise your shield to protect, you are not enabling weakness, but creating the safety necessary for growth. The world needs both energies. Without the sword, deception thrives. Without the shield, love cannot take root. And so, you were sent as the bridge, the one who brings both. To walk unapologetically in this paradox requires courage. It requires you to let go of the desire to be understood or approved of. It requires you to trust that your role is larger than the comfort of fitting in. The angel in you and the demon in you may still clash at times. But when you remember that they are not enemies, only different expressions of the same soul, you find harmony. And that harmony radiates outward, showing others what it means to embrace all of themselves. So take up your sword without shame. Let it cut away the lies, the masks, the false lights that try to cage you. Raise your shield without hesitation. Let it protect the innocent parts of you and those around you who long for safety. And above all, walk forward, knowing that you are not broken for holding both. You are whole because of it. The world may never understand how you can embody such contradiction, but the higher realms watch with reverence. They know that only a rare few are strong enough to carry both fire and grace in equal measure. This is your calling, to live as the paradox, to walk with sword and shield as one, to stop apologizing for being too much, too intense, too contradictory. You are exactly as you were meant to be, a divine paradox, a living embodiment of wholeness. And when you finally embrace that without hesitation, you will understand why you have always felt different. You will see that your difference is not a burden, but a crown. And with that crown, you will walk the earth as a reminder that true power is not choosing between light and dark, but learning to carry both with sacred balance. What if I told you that the angel within you is not the fragile, feathered being that so many imagine, but a force of authority that can bend the atmosphere around you? From the moment you were born, this angelic current has moved through your soul, sometimes quietly, sometimes so strongly it startled you with its intensity. It shows itself in the way you feel for others, in the way you sense suffering without words being spoken, in the way you cannot simply ignore pain when you encounter it. Compassion is the language of the angel within you, but it is not sentimental, it is sovereign. Your compassion does not make you weak, it makes you unshakable, because it reveals the depth of your connection to something higher. You may have noticed this in small ways. When someone around you is in distress, you feel it in your own body. When another person is weighed down, you instinctively carry some of that weight without thinking about it. Your presence has a calming effect, even when you don't say anything. This is the angel vibration shining through you. It is the invisible balm that makes people breathe deeper when you walk into the room, the unseen hand that steadies them without ever touching them. And yet, it is so easy to mistake this for mere niceness, as if your energy is just a personality trait rather than a force of nature. But niceness can bend, niceness can fold, niceness seeks approval. What you carry is far greater. The angel within you does not exist to please others, it exists to stand as a living pillar of light. Patience is another quality that defines it. You have a capacity to wait, to endure, to hold space in ways that bewilder those around you. While others grow restless or desperate, something in you remains steady, as if you are plugged into an endless source of strength. This patience is not passive. It is not weakness. It is not the silence of someone afraid to speak. It is the silence of someone who knows that time itself bends around truth, and truth always wins. Your patience is your proof of sovereignty, the evidence that you do not need to grasp, beg, or chase. You know that what is meant to arrive will arrive, and until then, you hold steady like a mountain rooted in eternity. And then there is sovereignty itself, the crown jewel of angelic energy. Too often people imagine angels as soft, endlessly forgiving beings who exist to comfort us. But the angel within you is not here to merely comfort, it is here to command. Its sovereignty is undeniable. You may have felt it rise in you when you were in a room full of noise, and suddenly, without speaking, you shifted the entire energy just by standing your ground. You may have seen it when someone tried to push you past your boundaries, and without shouting or threatening, you made it clear they would go no further. This is not fragility, this is authority. The angel within you carries the energy of alignment, and alignment is more powerful than control. You see, angelic energy is often misunderstood. People think of it as delicate, as endlessly forgiving, as incapable of saying no. But your angel is not a pushover. Your angel is a warrior of light, unyielding in its presence, unwavering in its clarity. It does not compromise truth for comfort. It does not bend to fit into illusions. It does not bow to lies. This is why, when you embody the angel within, you may trigger others. Some will be unsettled by the way you stand so firmly in compassion, without caving into manipulation. Some will call you cold because your patience unnerves them. Some will call you arrogant because they confuse sovereignty with ego. But you know the difference. Ego grasps. Sovereignty simply islands. Think of the times you have tried to soften yourself to fit into the world's idea of what kindness should look like. Perhaps you thought you had to be endlessly agreeable, never saying no, never holding boundaries, and yet every time you tried to live that way, something inside you felt off, as though you were betraying yourself. That is because angelic energy is not about pleasing, it is about embodying truth. When you stand in that truth, You radiate a compassion that is fierce rather than flimsy, a patience that is grounded rather than passive, and a sovereignty that cannot be bought or shaken. The angel in you does not need to argue for its place. It does not beg to be respected. It simply emanates a vibration that others cannot ignore. This is why you may find people simultaneously comforted and intimidated by your presence. On one hand, you heal them without effort. On the other, you remind them of the parts of themselves that they've been running from. That combination is not weakness, it is authority. It is the energy of someone who has nothing to prove, nothing to manipulate, nothing to force. You are, and in your being, you shift entire realities. And yet, there will be times when you doubt this. There will be times when your compassion feels like a burden, when your patience feels like stagnation, when your sovereignty feels like isolation. You may ask yourself, why am I the one always holding space? Why do I carry the weight of others? Why do I stand alone in rooms full of chaos? And the answer is simple, because your angelic energy is not here to blend in, it is here to anchor. You are not meant to be like everyone else. You are meant to stand as a lighthouse, a beacon in the dark, a reminder that strength can be silent, that authority can be compassionate, that light does not have to scream to be seen. Your angel within is the healer, not because you fix others, but because your very vibration heals. You heal by existing, by radiating presence, by embodying compassion, patience, and sovereignty in a world that constantly pushes for panic, speed, and control. You are the light bringer, not because you force illumination, but because you carry it naturally. And when people encounter you, they cannot help but feel that light. It is not always comfortable for them. Light exposes shadows, but even when they resist, they are changed. So do not mistake your angel for fragility. Do not let the world convince you that your compassion is naivety, that your patience is weakness, that your sovereignty is arrogance. The angel within you is none of those things. It is the living embodiment of authority, not the authority that dominates, but the authority that emanates. You do not need to prove it, you simply need to own it. Because when you do, you become unshakable. And this is your reminder. The angel within you is not just nice. It is unyielding presence. It is the force that heals without asking permission, the light that exposes without apology, the truth that stands without fear. It is the part of you that will never bend to lies, never crumble under chaos, never abandon love. That is your authority, that is your sovereignty. That is the angel within you, and when you finally claim it without hesitation, you will realize that what you thought was your gentleness was always your greatest strength. There is a part of you that has always burned hotter than the rest. You feel it rise when lies surround you, when manipulation lingers in the air, when someone tries to force you into silence. It is the part of you that others have called dangerous, sinful, or uncontrollable. Yet beneath all the fear and misunderstanding lies a truth most people are not ready to hear. The demon within you is not evil. It is fire, it is liberation, it is the holy ferocity that refuses to let you live inside cages built by illusion. While many have been conditioned to see anything fiery or destructive as wicked, your soul knows better. That fire is not here to ruin you, it is here to free you. The demon within is the destroyer of illusion. It is the force that rises when you can no longer tolerate falseness, when you are face to face with deception so heavy that it threatens to suffocate your spirit. This power is not random, it is coded into your being as part of your rare vibration. Just as angels are messengers of light, demons are destroyers of falsehood. They do not exist to corrupt, they exist to tear down what has no place in the truth. And because you carry both angel and demon within you, your task is not to repress the fire but to direct it with wisdom. Think about how many times you have felt a surge of anger in moments when others stayed quiet. Perhaps someone was being mistreated in front of you. Perhaps you heard a lie spoken with confidence. Perhaps you felt the sting of betrayal. Where others swallowed their discomfort, you felt the rise of something undeniable. That surge was not a flaw. It was the demon vibration coming alive to clear the room of illusion. When you finally let that fire speak, when you allowed it to burn through the lies, what happened? Suddenly the air shifted, masks fell. Truth revealed itself. That is the role of your inner demon, to strip away everything false, so that only what is real remains. The mistake most people make is believing this energy is evil because it is fierce. They confuse ferocity with malice. But ferocity, when sacred, is the most protective force in existence. It does not seek to harm for the sake of harm. It seeks to liberate what has been bound. It seeks to set fire to the chains of illusion so that you and others can step into freedom. This is why you cannot demonize your demon. If you suppress it, it will not disappear. Instead, it will turn inward, burning you from the inside out. Rage denied becomes self-destruction. Rage embraced with reverence becomes transformation. It is important to understand the difference. When you direct your destructive power toward yourself, you collapse under the weight of it. You criticize yourself, sabotage your own efforts, lash out at your own spirit. But when you learn to aim this fire at illusion, it becomes holy. It becomes the exact medicine this world needs. When you see someone hiding behind lies, your fire can strip them bare. When you see systems built on oppression, your fire can dismantle them. When you see fear controlling hearts, your fire can ignite courage. That is the sacred role of your demon. There is liberation in destruction when it is aligned with truth. Consider how a wildfire, though devastating, clears the forest floor so that new life can emerge. The demon within you works the same way. It burns away what is stagnant, what is rotting, what no longer serves life. And though people may fear the flames, you know the deeper truth. Without fire, the forest cannot renew itself. Without your demon, your soul cannot fully embody its sovereignty. This is why the fire in you often feels misunderstood. Others may sense it and recoil, thinking it is dangerous. But their fear is not really about you, it is about themselves. Your fire reminds them of their own shadows, their own suppressed rage, their own buried truth. And rather than face those things, they project their fear onto you. Yet even in their fear, they cannot look away. Because something deep inside them knows that your fire carries the medicine they crave. You have likely experienced this paradox in your relationships. People are drawn to your strength, your intensity, your unwillingness to tolerate falsehood. They lean into your fire because it makes them feel alive. And yet, the moment your fire turns toward their illusions, they may retreat, afraid of what they will see in themselves. This push and pull is not a sign that your fire is wrong. It is a sign that your fire is powerful, and powerful things will always be polarizing. To truly master this gift, you must learn to wield it with precision. Your demon does not need to rage blindly. It does not need to destroy everything in sight. Its true strength lies in discernment. When you recognize what is false, let your fire rise without shame. When you see fear masquerading as authority, let your fire dismantle it. But when you stand before something sacred, something real, something born of love, let your fire bow in reverence. This is the dance of mastery, knowing when to burn and when to protect. And the more you trust yourself to wield this power, the more you realize how liberating it truly is. You no longer fear conflict, you no longer fear intensity, you no longer fear being labeled too much. You understand that your fire is not random, it is holy. It is the part of you that will never allow you to settle for illusions. And when you walk with that knowledge, you stop apologizing for your ferocity. You stop trying to hide it in order to be accepted. You begin to embody it as the sacred weapon it was always meant to be. The demon within you is not here to corrupt your light. It is here to guard it. It is the sword that ensures your compassion is never mistaken for weakness. It is the fire that keeps your love from becoming naive. It is the intensity that demands your truth be honored, even when the world would rather ignore it. Without it, you would be incomplete. Without it, your angel would lack the balance necessary to stand strong in this world. So the next time you feel the fire rising in you, do not shrink back in shame. Do not turn it inward against yourself. Ask instead, what illusion is this fire asking me to burn away? What chain is it demanding I break? What falsehood is it trying to reveal? Direct it outward with clarity, and watch as the lies collapse in the presence of your truth. For this is your calling. To be both healer and destroyer. To be the one who loves fiercely and burns fiercely, and in doing so, liberates yourself and others from the prisons of illusion. You were not given this dual vibration to play small. You were given it to embody the paradox that terrifies systems of control. They cannot categorize you. They cannot predict you, because in you lives both the gentle hand of the angel and the ferocious fire of the demon. And when you finally learn to let that fire flow without apology, you will understand why you were always different. You will see that your demon was never your downfall. It was your fuel, your liberation, your holy reminder that the path to truth is not always gentle. Sometimes it takes fire, sometimes it takes ferocity. And in you, that ferocity has always been sacred. What if I told you that the conflict you feel inside of yourself, the tug of war between compassion and fire, is not a sign that something is wrong with you, but proof that something extraordinary is unfolding within you? For as long as you can remember, you've felt it. The angel within you reaching toward light, urging you to be gentle, forgiving, patient, while the demon within you rises with a roar, demanding truth, cutting through illusions, and unleashing a storm that refuses to be silenced. It feels like you are being pulled in opposite directions, as though you must choose one path or the other, and yet no matter how hard you try to settle on one, the other awakens with equal force. This clash is not random. It is the living war inside of you, and it is the initiation of your soul. There are days when your angelic nature dominates your life. You feel an unshakable tenderness for the world, even in its brokenness. You forgive when others tell you not to. You wait patiently while others rush. You see the pain in someone's eyes, and you want to pour your heart into them, offering comfort even when your own heart is tired. In those moments, you feel like perhaps this is who you truly are, the healer, the light-bearer, the one meant to soften the edges of the world. But then there are other days. Days when the fire inside you can no longer stay quiet. Days when your anger rises like a storm, when lies cut too deeply to ignore, when manipulation or injustice lights something primal in your chest. And in those moments you feel like perhaps this is who you truly are. The destroyer of illusion, the fierce one, the warrior who does not bend for anyone. When these two energies collide, it can feel like chaos inside your own body. One moment you are radiant with love, the next you are fierce with rage. One moment you are forgiving, the next you are uncompromising. And because the world around you does not understand this duality, you may have been told that you are unstable, that you are too extreme, that you need to calm down and pick a side. You may have wondered if they are right. But what they cannot see is that this war is not a flaw. It is a sacred fire burning in your soul. The angel and demon within you are not enemies. They are two forces meant to refine you, to sharpen you, to awaken you. But because the world is built on duality, it can only perceive them as opposites. Society tells you that you must be either good or bad, forgiving or ruthless, light or dark. It has no language for the paradox you embody. And so you have felt misunderstood, isolated, torn between identities that never fit fully. But that isolation has a purpose. It is pushing you inward, forcing you to face the war within instead of running from it. Because until you face it, you cannot understand the truth of who you are. This war is your initiation. Without it, you would never learn how to hold paradox. Without it, you would never discover your true strength. Think about it. If you were only angel, you would lack fire. You would be endlessly kind but vulnerable to manipulation. If you were only demon, you would lack tenderness. You would be endlessly powerful but cut off from compassion. The clash between the two forces is what teaches you balance. Each time the angel rises, it teaches you mercy. Each time the demon rises, it teaches you sovereignty. And each time they clash, they burn away another layer of illusion until you are left with nothing but truth. It is not easy. There are nights when you lie awake, feeling like your own heart is tearing itself apart. You want to be kind, but you also want to protect yourself. You want to forgive, but you also want to rage. You want to bring peace, but you also want to tear down the lies around you. And in those moments, you may wonder, who am I really? But that question itself is the key. You are both. You are not meant to choose one over the other. You are meant to become the meeting place where both forces coexist. Consider how the greatest transformations in your life have come not from peace alone, or from chaos alone, but from the collision of the two. A relationship ended, and your heart broke, but in the wreckage you discovered a new depth of compassion for yourself. A betrayal lit a fire inside you, but that fire burned away your illusions, and left you clearer, stronger, more aligned. Every clash between angel and demon within you births something new. Every internal battle carves you into the rare being you are becoming. And perhaps this is the most important truth: the war inside you is not meant to last forever. It is not eternal torment. It is the refining fire that shapes you into someone capable of carrying both light and darkness, without being consumed by either. The clash is not here to destroy you, it is here to transform you. When the angel and demon finally stop fighting for dominance and begin to dance in harmony, you will understand why you were born this way. You will see that you are not a battlefield, but a bridge, not a divided soul, but a whole one. Until then, you may feel misunderstood. You may feel unstable at times, as though you are being ripped apart from the inside. But every time you survive another clash, every time you emerge from another storm, you are proving to yourself that you can hold both. You are proving that you are strong enough to be paradox, brave enough to embody contradiction, rare enough to carry the dual vibration of angel and demon. So do not curse the war within you. Do not see it as a punishment or a flaw. See it as the fire that is forging you into something extraordinary. The angel and demon within you are not here to destroy each other. They are here to refine you until you remember that you were never meant to choose one. You were meant to be both. And when you finally realize that, when you stop trying to silence one side, and instead allow them to coexist, you will step into the full power of who you are. This is the paradox of your path. The war inside you is your greatest struggle, but it is also your greatest gift. Because once you embrace it, once you own it, once you let it shape you, you will see that what once felt like torment was actually your initiation into sovereignty. You are not broken. You are not unstable. You are awakening. There comes a point in your journey where the struggle to choose sides finally exhausts itself. You have spent years trying to figure out if you are more angel than demon, more light than shadow, more healer than destroyer. You have tried to silence one side of you in order to amplify the other, believing that peace would only come when you fully identified with one polarity. But what you discovered instead is that fragmentation is the real source of your suffering. It is not your fire that hurts you, nor your compassion that weakens you. It is the belief that you must be one or the other. Integration begins the moment you realize there is nothing to choose. You are both, and you always were. This realization is not a simple one. It does not arrive with a single meditation or a fleeting moment of insight. It arrives after you have wrestled with yourself, after you have tried to deny your rage, after you have hidden your tenderness, after you have seen how suppressing one side of you always leads to imbalance. The darkness you tried to bury erupted in unhealthy ways, and the light you tried to force became brittle and false. Neither extreme could hold you because neither extreme was the whole of you. The moment you stop trying to amputate parts of yourself is the moment you begin to understand that wholeness is not about purity, it is about paradox. To integrate is to let your light and dark begin their dance. Imagine them not as enemies locked in eternal combat, but as partners moving to the same rhythm. The light in you offers direction, compassion, healing. The dark in you offers fire, strength, clarity. Together they create something neither could achieve alone. Light without darkness becomes naive, blinding, incapable of discernment. Darkness without light becomes destructive, chaotic, incapable of love. But when they dance, they form a wholeness that is alive, fierce, and compassionate, all at once. You may have been taught that paradox is weakness, that contradictions prove instability. But the truth is, paradox is the language of the soul. The universe itself is built on paradox, expansion and contraction, birth and death, stillness and movement. Everything that is real contains its opposite. Why should you be any different? To live as a divine paradox is not to be unstable, it is to be aligned with the truth of creation. You were never meant to embody a single note. You were meant to be the harmony that arises when opposites play together. Think of the times you have felt most alive. Were they not moments when both your compassion and your fire were present? When you loved someone so deeply that you would do anything to protect them, and at the same time, you would burn down every illusion that threatened them. That is the dance of light and dark. It is not choosing between mercy and ferocity, it is embodying both as needed. It is the ability to forgive and the ability to fight. It is the ability to cradle and the ability to cut. And when you stop apologizing for being both, you discover a freedom you never thought possible. Integration does not mean the end of tension. The angel in you and the demon in you will still pull in different directions at times. But instead of fighting, you begin to see that tension as creative. It is the tension of a bowstring pulled taut, ready to launch an arrow. It is the tension of opposites that produces energy, momentum, transformation. When you live divided, that tension tears you apart. When you live integrated, that tension propels you forward. There will be people who do not understand this. They will demand you be only light, always forgiving, always gentle, always radiant. And when you refuse, they may call you harsh or unspiritual. Others will demand you be only dark, always fierce, always untamed, always unapologetic. And when you refuse, they may call you weak or compromised. But their judgments are not your compass. You are not here to satisfy their need for simple categories. You are here to embody the complexity of truth itself. And truth has never been one-sided. Owning your paradox means walking through the world with a kind of unapologetic wholeness. It means smiling with tenderness while carrying fire in your chest. It means being willing to hold someone while also being willing to walk away if their presence demands you betray yourself. It means speaking words that heal one moment and words that burn away illusion the next. You are not inconsistent, you are whole. You are not unstable, you are vast. Those who cannot comprehend this will try to reduce you, but your task is not to shrink for their comfort. Your task is to live so fully integrated that your very presence awakens others to the parts of themselves they have denied. Living as a divine paradox means you no longer search for balance by suppressing one side of you. Balance is not silence. Balance is inclusion. It is the ability to stand in both fire and light without collapsing into either extreme. It is the willingness to say yes to the fullness of your being. And in doing so, you become someone who cannot be manipulated by systems that thrive on division. Because when you have integrated your own light and dark, there is nothing left to split inside you. You cannot be controlled by guilt or by fear. You cannot be bribed by false promises of purity. You are whole, and wholeness is freedom. The paradox you embody is not just for you, it is for the world. When others see you living unapologetically as both light and dark, they are confronted with their own fragments. They may feel uncomfortable, even threatened. But they may also feel inspired. They may see, perhaps for the first time, that they too do not have to choose. That they can stop denying their anger or their tenderness, that they can stop pretending to be one-dimensional. By embodying integration, you give permission to others to begin their own. This is the secret you carry. You were never meant to be divided. The angel in you and the demon in you are not rivals. They are partners. They are the two wings that allow you to fly. And when you spread them both, you rise into a life that cannot be explained by categories. You rise into sovereignty. You rise into wholeness. The integration is not about perfection. It is about honesty. It is about looking at yourself fully and saying yes. Yes to the fire. Yes to the tenderness. Yes to the chaos. Yes to the peace. Yes to being a paradox that refuses to be broken. And so the dance continues, light and dark, hand in hand, moving through you with rhythm and purpose. One moment the fire leads, the next moment the light does. Sometimes they clash, sometimes they harmonize, but always they move together. Always they remind you that your soul is vast enough to hold both. And as you watch them dance, you realize you are not merely the dancer. You are the dance itself. You are the living paradox, the union of opposites, the reminder that true divinity is not one-sided. True divinity is whole. What if I told you that the reason life has never felt simple for you is because you were never meant to live a simple life? You carry within you a vibration that is so rare, so potent, that the spiritual realm itself watches you with both curiosity and intensity. You are not just another soul passing through this earth to taste its pleasures and endure its hardships. You are being tested, you are being refined. Every storm, every betrayal, every challenge has not been random punishment but deliberate initiation. The angel and demon within you are not just personal traits, they are cosmic forces preparing you for an assignment unlike any other. You are the balancer of realms, This is why the unseen world keeps its eyes on you. It is not because you are weak, it is because you are strong enough to carry something most souls could not bear. When chaos rises, they watch how you respond. When injustice strikes, they observe whether you yield or stand firm. When love pulls you apart and fire roars through your veins, they wait to see whether you collapse into division or rise into integration. Every trial has been a measurement of your capacity to hold paradox without being destroyed by it, and you have endured. Even in your moments of despair, even when you thought you could not go on, you rose again. And each time you rose, you proved that you were becoming what you were always meant to be, a bridge between worlds. Your assignment is not small. You are here to heal systems, to break illusions, and to embody sovereignty in a way that shakes others awake. You are not just meant to soothe pain with gentle compassion, though you will do that. You are not just meant to burn through lies with holy fire, though you will do that too. You are meant to stand in the middle, to embody both forces fully, and show that wholeness is not about choosing one side, but about holding all of it. This is why you were given both angel and demon. Because only by carrying both can you stand in the gap between worlds and reveal what unity actually looks like. When you step into a room, you may not realize it, but energy shifts. People feel both comfort and unease around you. They sense your compassion, but they also sense your fire. They do not know what to make of you because you are not predictable. You are not tame, and that is the point. Your very presence breaks the illusion that people can separate light from dark, sacred from profane, compassion from fury. You expose the truth that both live in all of us, and in doing so, you awaken others to parts of themselves they would rather avoid. That is part of your assignment. You are not here to be easy to understand. You are here to be undeniable. But with this assignment comes responsibility. To carry this vibration is to carry sovereignty. And sovereignty is not a crown you wear. It is a weight you bear. It means you cannot look to others for constant validation, because your path is too rare for most people to comprehend. It means you cannot conform just to make others comfortable, because your very role is to disrupt false comfort. It means you cannot shrink to fit into categories, because categories were made to divide, and you are here to unify. Sovereignty demands that you stand tall even when misunderstood, even when alone, even when everything in you longs for belonging, because your belonging is not in the crowd, your belonging is in your assignment. Think of all the ways you have been stretched by life. Times when you lost everything you thought you needed. Times when you had to stand up against lies even when it cost you friendships, jobs, or opportunities. Times when you were asked to forgive what felt unforgivable. Times when you had to burn away attachments you thought you could not live without. Each of those moments was not random. They were calibrations, sharpening you into the balancer of realms you were born to be. Without those fires, you would not have the authority to hold the paradox you now embody. Without those losses, you would not carry the compassion that now radiates from you. Without those battles, you would not wield the fire that now protects you. And this is why your life has often felt so extreme. While others move through life with minor lessons, your lessons have been seismic. While others walk straight paths, your path has been jagged and winding. But that is because ordinary souls are not asked to hold what you hold. Ordinary souls are not asked to heal the collective by embodying paradox. You are not here to play small. You are here to be a living example that unity does not come from sameness, it comes from sovereignty. So what does it mean to be a balancer of realms? It means that when systems built on lies stand before you, you feel the fire rise, and you break them apart. It means that when people are shattered by pain, you feel compassion rise, and you hold them until they can breathe again. It means that when the world tells you to choose between light and dark, you smile, because you know that both live in you, and both serve a higher truth. It means that when spiritual forces test you, when they push you to the edge of breaking, you show them that you cannot be broken. You can bend, you can bleed, you can burn, but you rise every time, because rising is written into your soul. And when you walk fully in this assignment, others will notice. They may not understand it, but they will feel it. Some will be drawn to you, sensing that you carry an energy they have never experienced before. Others will be threatened by you, because your sovereignty exposes their dependence on illusions. But whether they love you or fear you, they will not forget you, because your presence is not just personal, it is cosmic. You carry the balance of realms inside you, and that cannot be ignored. Yet do not mistake this assignment for ease. To be sovereign is to be tested. To be a bridge is to be walked on. To carry paradox is to endure misunderstanding again and again. But each test strengthens you. Each misunderstanding deepens you. Each step of the journey shapes you into someone who no longer needs the approval of the world, because you know you were born for something greater. This is the responsibility of sovereignty, to hold your head high when no one claps for you, to keep walking when no one understands you, to keep burning away illusions when others beg you to stay silent, to keep healing when others mock your compassion, to keep being the bridge, even when it feels like the weight of two worlds is pressing down on your shoulders. Because you are strong enough to hold it, you were made for this. And so, if you have ever wondered why your path feels harder, why your tests feel heavier, why your soul feels watched and measured, now you know. You are rare. You are chosen. You are the balancer of realms. You are not here to live an easy life. You are here to live a sovereign one. And in doing so, you awaken others to their own potential, their own wholeness, their own authority. That is your gift. That is your burden. That is your calling. The greatest test of your life is not whether you can prove your worth to others, nor whether you can perfect yourself into some flawless version of purity. The final challenge is whether you can walk without apology. For so long you have been told that you are too much, too fiery, too intense, too contradictory, too hard to understand. You have felt the sting of being misunderstood by those who wanted you to shrink so they could remain comfortable in their illusions. You have carried the weight of trying to soften your voice, to dim your fire, to polish your light into something palatable. But the truth is, the world was never meant to consume you neatly. You were never meant to be safe for others. You were meant to be sovereign. To walk without apology is to finally embrace the angel and demon within you as one seamless current. It is to acknowledge that your compassion and your fury are not opposites, but allies. It is to stop explaining to others why you love so fiercely and burn so fiercely. It is to refuse to dilute yourself in order to be digestible. Walking without apology means taking up the space that was always yours, not in arrogance but in certainty. Certainty that you were crafted to be this paradox, that your fire and your light are not mistakes but weapons of awakening. The sword you carry is your darkness, the power to cut through illusions, to dismantle lies, to strike down the cages that keep you and others small. The shield you carry is your light, the power to protect, to anchor, to heal what is sacred in yourself and those you love. You were given both because your role demands both. The sword without the shield becomes cruel. The shield without the sword becomes naive. Together they create balance. Together they allow you to move through the world as a warrior of truth. To walk without apology is to carry both openly, no longer hiding one side for fear of how it will be received. The paradox you embody will always disturb those who rely on simplicity. Some will see your light and ignore your fire, hoping to keep you soft and predictable. Others will see your fire and ignore your light, hoping to reduce you to rage alone. But you are not half of anything. You are the wholeness that holds both. To walk without apology is to live in that wholeness, no longer granting others the power to define you. Their labels cannot contain you, and their discomfort is not your responsibility. This does not mean you abandon humility. It does not mean you wield your fire recklessly, or hide behind your light to avoid accountability. It means you stand rooted in the truth of who you are, without shrinking, without disguising, without shame. It means you no longer measure your worth by how many people approve of you, because you finally realize that approval was never your assignment. Your assignment was sovereignty. Your assignment was to walk as the paradox that cannot be controlled. Walking without apology also means accepting that some will leave you. Not everyone can handle the mirror of your presence. Not everyone is ready to stand near someone who embodies both mercy and ferocity. Some will retreat into the safety of their illusions, and you must let them go. Your path was never meant to keep everyone comfortable. It was meant to awaken those who are ready. The ones who remain are those who can see you fully, who can honor your paradox without trying to change it. These are the souls who will walk beside you as you step into your sovereignty. But the deepest part of this challenge is internal. The voices of doubt that live inside you may still whisper that you are too much, that you must hide, that you must choose between being light or being dark. Walking without apology means silencing those voices with action. It means choosing, again and again, to stand in your wholeness, even when fear tells you to split yourself apart. It means remembering that every time you tried to live divided, you suffered, and every time you embraced your paradox, you felt free. You were not born for safety. Safety is the promise the world makes in exchange for your compliance. Safety is the comfort of smallness, the illusion of belonging built on the condition that you hide half of yourself. But sovereignty is different. Sovereignty is not the absence of risk, it is the presence of power. It is the understanding that you can weather storms, that you can hold chaos and light together without being destroyed. Sovereignty is the unshakable knowing that you were crafted to walk paths others fear, not because you are reckless, but because you are whole. The final challenge asks you, will you step into that sovereignty? Will you stop apologizing for your fire, for your compassion, for your contradictions? Will you carry the sword and the shield together, refusing to let either be diminished? Will you live as the paradox you were born to embody, even when it unsettles the world? This is not an easy choice, because it will cost you the comfort of fitting in. But what you gain in return is priceless. You gain yourself, you gain freedom, you gain the ability to walk through life unbound by the illusions that hold so many others captive. Imagine what your life would look like if you never apologized again for your intensity. Imagine what it would feel like to speak your truth without hesitation, to let your love be as fierce as your rage, to let your presence be as radiant as your shadow. That life is not a dream. It is waiting for you the moment you decide that you will no longer betray yourself for acceptance. The final challenge is not external. It is the moment you stop asking permission to be whole. And when you do, something extraordinary happens. The very things you once feared would isolate you become the very things that empower you. The fire in your chest becomes your compass. The tenderness in your heart becomes your anchor. The contradictions that once tormented you become the crown upon your head. You no longer walk as a divided soul. You walk as a sovereign being, whose very existence is a reminder that true divinity is paradox. So let the world see you as you are. Carry the sword with honor. Carry the shield with love. Let your light heal, and let your fire burn. Walk into every room as the paradox you were born to be, not with apology, but with certainty. Because in the end, the final challenge is not about proving anything to anyone else. It is about whether you will choose to live small and safe, or vast and sovereign. And you already know the answer. You were not born for safety. You were born to embody the holy paradox of angel and demon, to live unapologetically as both, to walk with the power of chaos and the tenderness of light united in your being. That is your destiny, and it has been waiting for you all along.